right, so today I am with you as a presenter. I am Melissa Knowles. My co-presenter today, Jessica Hayes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Hayes. I am the co-presenter, like Melissa said. Let's go ahead and get this presentation started. I'm going to swing it back over to Melissa.
Awesome. So I threw up that slide about us, but we're going to be co-presenting today, Active Classroom, to introduce you to the program and some ways to learn more about it. So today for our agenda, we have done our introductions. We're going to talk about our objective or the outcome for today's session, and we're going to get into the content and the great features in Active Classroom. We will close and follow that with a question and answer session. So it should be a great time together today. Our objective today is to form a basic understanding of the functions and features of Active Classroom. So this is going to be the basic features, but we do have some learning opportunities we're going to share with you. If you already are familiar with some of the things we're talking about today, we're going to share with you ways that you can enhance and go into the 102 or the more advanced features in Active Classroom. So let's get started. What is Active Classroom? So first, let's start with that in case you're not familiar with the program. Active Classroom is a resource. It is a digital online resource of over 5,000 activities on many different subjects, including psychology, sociology, and all of the history content areas. We offer several reading levels on Lexiles of 350 and up. I think I've seen at least a 1,300, I think even a 1,400 Lexiles. So you've got all ranges of reading levels. We have several different activities. So as you see on the right, you can see those icons. Those icons are going to represent different activities in Active Classroom. We have mapping activities, atlases, and historical maps for students to learn how to read maps and use that data to enhance their learning. We're also going to provide students with images, videos, and primary source analysis so they can really learn how to engage and analyze resources deeply and then apply that not only to historical time periods, but also to current time periods. We're going to provide PowerPoints and project-based learning opportunities, including teaching notes, teaching guides, everything you need to complete an activity. Probably my favorite are the simulations where students can really become a part of history or become a detective in a CSI approach to learning about history. So we're really giving students a chance to engage and be active in their learning. We're going to also provide students with study skills like reading, writing, and critical thinking beyond, and decision-making and problem-solving, critical thinking skills for your students. We hear those words, some of these buzzwords that you can see here. Those are all going to be available. Included in this, which is not on this slide, but if you see the speaker on the right, we also have activities called History Tunes. And so students can get different types of songs about history. And some of those, they include questions. One of the particular history activities, History Tunes, it has tier 1, 2, and 3 activities available. So we just provide students with a vast array of activities so you can keep them engaged in their learning, no matter what you're teaching. So let's dive in. The first thing that I want to share with you today are tools to support students. Yes, literacy is embedded into Active Classroom. Literacy is embedded into social studies. They work incredibly well together because the librarian in me really thinks that history is a big story. It's just a never-ending, always changing and growing story for students to interact with. So yes, we can build those literacy skills in social studies, but we also want to give students tools because we don't want literacy to be a barrier to students in learning the content. And also using these tools helps them in their growth in literacy also. Okay, so if we're in Active Classroom, the first thing I'm going to show you, this is an activity called History Unfolding. So if you open this activity, this is what you would see if you clicked on the illustration 1. So in the upper right-hand corner, you see a piece of paper with a speaker on it. That is where you're going to find those text-to-speech tools and those tools for students to engage and better learn the content if they're struggling with content. So when you open that bar, here's what you see. You are going to have several options. The first 4 options are going to be text-to-speech options. So you can click the pointer hand, and click anywhere on the page and it will start reading there. If you just click play, it's going to start reading the whole page. Now let me show you what that's going to look like. So as it's reading, it highlights the sentence and the word that is being read in 2 different colors. And you'll be glad to know that you can change those colors if you want to. We know that different students react better to different color combinations. So that is adjustable in Active Classroom also. So not only do we have the text-to-speech tools, those read aloud tools, we're also going to give students an option to get a dictionary definition. So I actually went a little bit far on my arrow. That arrow should be pointing right there to the book. And if you click on a word and then select that open book, it's going to give you a dictionary definition of the word. One thing I also really like about this is, let's say they don't know how to read that word or how to say it. Think of your English language learners. Think of your lower level readers. And sometimes even your higher level readers that may not know how to pronounce a word. They can select the word, and not only do they get a definition, but they can also play and hear the definition and hear the word pronounced for them. So it's incredibly beneficial. So this arrow is also pointing at a image. Well, you're going to also get a picture image of the word. So you can see how that could be helpful to students in understanding beneficial. Maybe they've read the sentence and the paragraph to get some context. They've looked at the dictionary definition. Well, now they have an image to help them then to better understand how that word is being used in this sentence. We also have the option to translate. We have so many different languages in our schools today that students really need to see it sometimes in both languages. So if you highlight a word, sentence, or as you see here, I've highlighted the whole paragraph, and you click that word, it's going to give you a translation here. The translation is also read to the students in their language. I really like this because they can follow along both in their native language and in the English. So they're getting a chance to see those words in both languages and how they're used. The default language for this is going to be Spanish. But we have many options. If you go all the way to the right, that little settings tool, you can see here that when you open the settings, you have many language options. Chinese, Italian, Japanese, we've got Persian, Spanish, Vietnamese, Swahili. If you have a language that we don't have that you need for your students, please email help@socialstudies.com and let us know, because we want to add any languages that you need, and we continue to add those as people send ideas in. By the way, I did learn recently that our Haitian language is going to be the Creole Haitian, not French Haitian. So good to know there. So we're offering all of those tools, from text-to-speech to translations to dictionary definitions, embedded in Active Classroom and in our program, which I think is awesome for students to use it. They're more likely to use it if it's right there. Now, this particular history unfolding activity is a primary source image analysis activity. So we're also going to give you some tools to analyze the image. So if we click on illustrate the image, it would pop up just like this. So the first option that you're going to have is this top option, which is a zoom tool. As you move your mouse around the screen, it zooms in on those different parts. And as we see this great picture here about robber barons, I love this image on the backs of the workers. We have another option. The middle option is going to be full screen, so it's going to make it full screen. This is wonderful for students, and if you're presenting or using it virtually, many of our activities embed incredibly well, whether you're using a virtual platform or a print or in-person platform. You can print out any of these pictures, including the background information. You can project them. They can look at them on their own device. Lots of options for what fits your classroom. The last tool here for image analysis is that quadrant tool. I love this because you can select one part of an image and it zooms in on just that part. This is really neat way to use to show students perspective in the image. What do you think is going on here? Then you show them a different part. Well, what do you think now? So they can see that based on their knowledge and what they have an experience of, their perspective changes. And that, I think, is an important lesson for our students to learn in our world today. And then, as I said, questions are here for students. Literacy is embedded. As you see at the end of the questions, we have some literacy ideas like interpreting meanings. So that question is going to be interpreting meanings, question 1. Question 2 is also interpreting meanings. And then we get to question 3 where we're looking at point of view. And 4, defining terms and judgments. So you've got different levels of questions and different skills that you're honing in each question. And again, if you go to the printer icon in the upper right-hand corner, you can choose the illustrations you would like to print or which parts of the activity you would like to print with or without answers. So a great resource for you to use with your students. Now let's just do a little check for understanding. And I just want you to think right now, how do you plan to use the tools in Active Classroom with your students? So in Active Classroom, I showed you one activity. That is the History Unfolding Activity Series. There are a lot of ways to find activities. And if you look on the right, you can look by keyword. You can search by your state standards. You can search by the subject, era or theme, series title, activity type, and once you get into Active Classroom and start making some favorites, you can search just your favorites also. So let's look at what that looks like. So on the Active Classroom homepage, you're going to select activities, that magnifying glass. And when you do, it's going to open up into some options for you. The first search option allows you to search by keyword. You can use different terms in order to search. You can use and or any of those Boolean searches. So here I searched the Gilded Age. Now I also have an option to sort it by type. Maybe your kids are getting bored with readings and you want to do a decision making. With the gavel. Maybe you want to look for a song on the Gilded Age. You can search by type right there by just selecting that word. You can also search by Lexile. So I've sorted it. It's going to go right here. You see lowest to highest. So the lowest Lexile for the Gilded Age is a 800. Now, if you go to the end, there are several more pages in this search. Some of our activities don't have a Lexile because they may be like a History Unfolding where you're analyzing images. It's not a lot of text. We also can search by state standards. So I've pulled up some state standards here, and you can choose any of your state standards and it will search activities that will meet that standard. In that standard, you can also add in a keyword to further narrow down your search. My favorite way to search probably is using the advanced tools. So here's where you can search by subject. Maybe you want to look and see what all there is available for you in geography or economics. So you can choose your subject there and everything will pop up that is available in that subject area. You can also search by era or theme. So you can search time period, you can search Civil War, Cold War, recent history. You have a lot of options there to search just different time periods. You can also search by series title. It would have taken several slides for me to show you all the series available in Active Classroom. So check those out when you have some time because there are a lot of great series that I think you're really going to enjoy. Also, I write a lot of government maps. In my government maps, I use sociology and psychology activities. I also use some geography, typically geography activities. So just know that there may be some great activities that aren't necessarily in your subject that you would still enjoy using with your students. And then you can also search again by activity type. Maybe you need a simulation. Let's get those kids active and moving around. Maybe you've already done some readings and a decision making, but you want to find some maps available for your students. I'm going to stop sharing and let Jessica share because she's going to show you now how to assign activities in Active Classroom.
All right, everyone. So I'm going to talk about assigning activities within Active Classroom. There's a lot of great ways that a lot of different ways that you can assign these activities to students. You can differentiate for various learning needs. You can customize highlights, and then you can also assign these activities to certain classes, groups, or even individual students. So I'm just going to start by, again, bringing back to the home page. And so if you want to assign students a particular activity, you would go into the activities icon. And then on the right-hand side, you will see a silhouette under the column Assign. And that is what you would click on when you find the activity that you want to give to your students. So now it is pretty self-explanatory what you would do to assign it to students. First, you need to give your lesson a title, and it will automatically assign one. Whatever the name of the lesson is will appear here in this name box. If you want to change it, you definitely can do it. Then you're going to assign a due date, an unlock date. And so usually I unlock it. If I'm planning a lesson, I usually go ahead and unlock it the day that I assign. But if you are someone who really likes to plan activities for, a month out or so, a week out, month out, this unlock date is really good for that. You can also show grades as points or percentage. And then you can also include student instructions. So here you can also have the option of having students highlight in an activity. Maybe you assign a reading and there is something in particular you would like for them to do with a highlight. And so this is great for differentiation. It's great for, seeing what students are understanding or what they have questions about. So really what you can do is for whatever assignment that you have, you can decide what you want your students to do with it to guide your highlighting selections. And so here in the student instruction box, you can type in something like highlight the vocabulary words in green, highlight the main idea in blue, and the supporting details in red. And there's just a lot of different ways that you can use these highlights. When you click on Customize Highlights, that is the button. There are always 4 pre-made highlights available to you. And then you can also create your own. Inside of those customized highlight buttons, you can delete the pre-made. If there's none of those you want to use, you can go ahead and create your own. You can create a highlight that says, love this, or a highlight that says vocabulary. And so then when students start reading and they find something they love, they can highlight using that particular color. You can also, if you notice here, this is something that's pretty new. It is 2 buttons called Allow Students to Retry After Submitting, and another one that says Show Students the Correct Responses After Submitting. So this is 2 options that you can choose when you are assigning. I would recommend that you not select both at the same time. Because then what students they will have the correct responses ready, and then they're able to return in their submission. And so that kind of defeats the purpose. So I would select one or the other. And then at the bottom, you will see you can select all of the parts of the assignment to send to students, or you can only select parts if you wanted to. So if there's certain sections that you want to assign students, you can choose and select that. Then when you're ready, you can decide if you want to send it to a particular class, particular students, or particular student groups. So this is great for differentiation as well. If you have a higher level reading that you want to send to a certain group, you can do that. If you have a lower level reading you want to send to a different group, you can do that as well. So you would just select this arrow beside the class, student, or group that you want to send it to, and then it will show up under the Review Your Selections column, and then you just hit Save Assignment. So once you hit the Save Assignment button, you will see this green banner that says, well done, you have successfully submitted your assignment to students. And it is just as easy as that. Now you're probably wondering how to grade all of those activities. Active Classroom will automatically grade. If an assignment has multiple choice questions, it will automatically grade it for you. You can also leave feedback for your students. And I'm also going to show you how you can publish these grades for students to be able to see it inside of their accounts. So back on the home page, you will see an icon called Assignments and Grades. So you would just click on that icon. Here is what inside of that icon looks like. You will see all of the assignments that you have given your students. And then on the right-hand side, you will see a grade column, and that is the icon that you will select to grade the assignment. If there is a multiple choice question, Active Classroom will automatically grade it for you. And so here, this is a assignment that a student has not completed, so it did not automatically grade anything because there wasn't anything to grade. But you will see the questions for the assignment will appear. They will give the expected answer, and then you will see the student answer. So if it is a short answer question, you will have to grade it yourself, but you will see again the expected answer and then the student. Then you can decide Did students get it incorrect? And you would select the X. Did they get it correct? And you would select the check mark. And then in the middle, you will see a half shaded circle. And so if you want to give them partial credit, you can do that. Then you can leave them feedback in the feedback box. You can also decide you can change the value of the questions. So if you decide that it's all default, it's at 1 point value. But if you decide a question is a little bit more difficult, needs more points, you can then change the value inside of these boxes. And then once you do that, you will see the grade, the overall score will automatically change. So if you say, hey, this first question is worth 5 points, you change the value to 5, you will see that the grade is right now, it's currently out of 18. But if you add that should be worth 5 points, then it will change to out of 23. You can also view the student activity. So if you want to go in and check and see the work that they've done, you want to check on their highlights, you can select this view button. And then the student lesson will pop up and you're able to see all their highlights and the work that they have done. You can also navigate between students by clicking the drop-down box. So you see here is my fake student that I created called Student 18. But if I hit this drop-down box, I'll be able to see all of the students within that one class, and I'll be able to toggle between student work. So as you see, there is no save button. Active Classroom automatically saves your work on this page. And once you're done, you can go into the grade book. So you will see the grade book column at the top. And so now you see each of your assignments are laid out like a grade book. If you notice on the far right, here is an example of one of the grades that I've given my students for this particular assignment. So if you went through and you graded all of your students' work, you would see their grades appear here. But you may also notice that there is a red drop-down box beside the title. That means that students are not able to see their grades. So you have to publish the grades. All you have to do is click the drop-down box here, and then you would click the button that says Publish Grades, and then this drop-down box will turn green. And that's how you know that students can now see what their grades are within their own Active Classroom account. So here is a question of reflection that we have for you. So how do you plan to customize assignments to best meet the needs of your classroom? And so that is just one question that we would like for you to think about as we finish up this webinar with you. If you have a question, we will have a question and answer portion here in just a few minutes. We do want to talk about professional development. We have courses, webinars, micro-credentials ready for you to help enhance your professional learning. Before we get to that, I wanted to show you the help page. I know we went over a lot in just a short amount of time, but we do have a great help page for you. If you go back to your home page, or you will actually see it at the top of any page that you're in an Active Classroom, there is a question mark at the very top right, and that will take you to the help page. So once you click it, this is what you will see. You'll see video tutorials that are very short that will go over all the different functions within Active Classroom. You will see a user guide for teachers. That's very interactive and very comprehensive. There's also one for students. And so inside of the student account, they also have their own help page and their own student guide that they can use to help them navigate Active Classroom. There is also a great contact us button that will email the help department directly, and they are great about getting back to you very quickly. For example, we had another training, me and Melissa, and she actually contacted the help desk right in the middle of that training, and they got back to her within just a few minutes. I have actually emailed them over the weekend, and they've gotten back to me just either that night or that next day, and it was, a weekend. So they are very good about making sure that you have the support that you need. So our professional learning Active Classroom is dedicated to help you continue professional learning. And so on the home page, you will see the professional learning icon at the very bottom. And if you click that, you will see our courses. So we have Active Classroom 101 and 102, and this is what Melissa mentioned at the beginning of this webinar. This is a course that can help you through the functions of Active Classroom and can help you with a little bit more of the advanced stuff that you can do. So it is self-paced and it is free. And so once you complete these courses, you can earn a digital badge that will indicate that you're an Active Classroom certified teacher. We also have more webinars listing, and so if you go into our professional learning page, click on webinars, you will see all the ones listed for the fall semester. All you have to do is come in and click on the register button, and those are free as well. So we'll have more about the functions of Active Classroom, but we also have some about, the wider field of social studies. And then finally, the newest form of professional development we have is micro-credentials. This is designed to provide teachers with flexibility to choose what and when they want to add to their professional life. It's designed really to take 15 hours. It's self-paced, so you can decide what you want to learn. We have a list of different content for you, so you can take it at your own pace. It's free, and then once you complete it, you will earn a digital badge. Here is our final reflection. How have your views on Active Classroom been enhanced today? Hopefully you will walk away with some ideas on how to use these tools with your students, how to grade, how to assign all these lessons. I know that it's pretty quick and we offered a lot to you during this 30 minutes, so hopefully you are able to walk away with a good idea of how to use these functions and tools in your classroom. Do we have any questions, Melissa?
So we do have a question now. How do we access the video? Are you able to email it?
Okay, so the video for this webinar, I believe you'll go to socialstudies.com, and then there will be a learning tab, and then you'll hit webinars, and then that is where you will see the video recording. You can also sign up for future webinars on that page as well.
Jessica, if you go back to the slide that showed the webinars and how to register, show them where the watch portion is. That will also allow you access to this video.
Yes, so you can see here is the upcoming, and then under the watch tab, you will see the past webinars that we have done as well.
Usually takes a couple days. It's not too long, and it'll be up for you.
Any other questions?
For the Atlas activities, I had run into the problem where my students could not see my feedback and they couldn't see the scores. Is that something I control from my end?
That is a good question. Did you try to email help?
No, I've not done that. I hadn't gotten far enough to do that. I'd just gotten into the habit of pulling them up to my desk and showing them.
That should not be happening. The hard part of technology and different platforms and also some system blocks could be affecting that. So I would definitely suggest, I'm going to put the email in the chat box. It's just help@socialstudies.com. And you can also go to the help page that Jessica showed you. And there's a contact us button. And you can go through that to contact the help desk also. But let them go in and see if there's anything on our end that we can fix. And if not, we can get you in touch or let you know you need to be in touch with your tech department on that side. So I wish I could tell you more on that, but some of these tech things with all the learning management programs and all the different parts that go into it now has made it a little bit harder to troubleshoot without knowing a little bit more about the background of what's going on behind the scenes. That feedback is important. Some of the feedback can even be given verbally in some of the activities. So I really love that feature, especially when we were virtual. So that definitely should be showing up for your students when they look at it.
All right. Is there anything else? If there are no more questions, we just want to thank everybody for attending this evening. We here at Social Studies School Service, we just appreciate for letting us be a part of your professional learning. And we just want everybody to have a great evening.